An important delegation visiting Utah today from the French Alps, what they hope to learn about the 2002 Winter Olympic Games.
Right now, a delegation from the French Alps 2030 Olympic Games is right here in Utah. They met with the lieutenant governor and other key players in Utah's own Olympic journey.
News special Shara Park joined us live from the Capitol with insight into this visit. Hi, Shara.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Ashley. Yeah, this delegation visiting Utah over the next several days, they're hoping to gain some knowledge, some insight from those here in our state who are familiar with the Olympic Games to kind of guide them, answer some of those questions as they now prepare for their games. Now, this delegation is made up of government officials, including the president of France's Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, one of two regions that will host the 2030 Games. This delegation has built a strong relationship with Salt Lake's Olympic Committee as the two work together to secure each respective bid. Now, with time ticking down on them, they want to see our venues and learn more about what made our 2002 Games so successful.
We want to share with our friends everything that we learned from 2002, but then we'll have the opportunity to learn from them because they will host in 2030.
Now, over the next 2 days, the delegation will visit Utah Olympic Park in Park City, and they'll ski at Deer Valley. They'll also visit the Olympic Oval in Kearns, where, if you remember, in 2002, speed skating athletes captured the world's attention. While here in Utah, they'll also visit the Delta Center and take in a jazz game. Now, we have many people like Fraser Bullock, who you just heard from there, who worked on the 2002 Games and will be able to provide this delegation with some very unique insight and knowledge into what made our games so successful. One thing I asked the president very specifically is what he is hoping to get insight on. I'll tell you his response coming up tonight at 6. For Live at 5 at the state capitol, I'm Shara Park.
All right, Shara, we'll see you at 6. Thank you. Well, today, Utah Attorney General Derek Brown held his first public news conference since getting sworn in earlier this week. He says he's going to continue to work on the social media lawsuits, despite representing Facebook's parent company in the past.
We have about 280 attorneys, some coming, some going. Conflicts are a pretty standard issue that we deal with all the time. And so we will continue, though, as an office to move forward on this really vital and important litigation, because this is something that impacts the people of Utah and specifically our kids.
The office is keeping track of any potential conflicts it could run into and made a commitment to bring more transparency to the AG's office through more public conferences.
An antitrust lawsuit against a property manager.
Thanks.
Delegation from the 2030 French Alps Winter Olympic Games is visiting Utah over the next couple of days here, hoping to glean some insight into what makes a successful games. News special Shara Park caught up with them at the state capitol this afternoon. And Shara, they've come to the right place, or this is the place, right?
You stole my line, Mike. I wanted to say that so bad. To borrow those famous words, this is the place, right, to come and learn about Olympic Games, right? We hosted the 2002 Games successfully. We had incredible venues in multiple different cities, all functioning at the same time, and they're still continuing to operate and generate revenue. So that is something that this French delegation wants to know about because they're going to have to operate in a very similar way. Now, this delegation is made up of government officials, including the president of France's Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, one of the two regions that will host the 2030 Games. Now, when I asked him what he hopes to learn from our 2002 Games, he described wanting to know more about how we made our venues easily accessible, how we got people to and from venues that span from Park City to Kearns. He spoke in French, but his translator also described wanting to know more about how to successfully promote a Games.
I think that it's important to talk about how we get people from the bottom up to the top of the mountains and how we can improve access for visitors amongst the different event sites and how we can make sure that the Games are a big celebration.
Now, over the next 2 days, the delegation will visit Utah Olympic Park in Park City. They'll ski at Deer Valley. They'll also visit the Olympic Oval in Kearns and attend a jazz game at the Delta Center. When I spoke to Fraser Bullock today, who is the president and CEO of our committee for the 2034 Games, he says this is a great opportunity to collaborate and share strategies with this delegation. He says they become good friends and partners with Salt Lake's committee, and he wants them to be successful. Now, the French delegation says 95% of their venues from their 1992 games are still operational, which really helps with their shortened time frame in getting ready for the next games. One thing they still have to build are ice rinks, an ice rink, and they're going to be doing that in Nice along the Mediterranean, which is why they wanted to visit our Utah Olympic Oval. Mike, we'll send it back inside to you.
Shara, I am so sorry that I stole your line. I'm a big fan of Brigham Young, and so I couldn't help myself.
I get it. I get it. It's fine.
All right, great story. Thanks, Shara.
Looking live at downtown Salt Lake City.